Test 1, 2. Yeah, we got that one. Thus older adults in this room. Well, this is going to be a little bit different doing this with just a small group, but thank you for coming to get some information about the 7th, 8th, and 9th grade trip. What I'm going to do tonight is just share a little bit of information about the trip that we have planned and let you know some details and then allow you to ask any questions that you have. So if you're joining online, I'll send out this, I've got a handout, but I will make that grab a handout there, John. Make that available, I'll email it out. So the details for this trip, I know Cole was on the trip last summer, and essentially this is going to be a very similar experience to last summer was our very first 7th and 8th grade mission trip. This summer, it's going to be very similar with just different service locations. So we are staying at the same congregation in South St. Paul, which is Luther Memorial Church. I've talked with them, and they are welcoming us back. What? Free what? Frisbee, yeah. So it's a beautiful neighborhood with a park right across the street and a great space to have for sleeping accommodations and not our showers aren't on site, but cooking and different things right there at the church. So our shower locations are just a little ways away at Central Square Community Center, so probably just like a 2-minute drive, which is really nice. So essentially these trips are a chance to step away from your normal routine, kind of get out of the Delano bubble, experience some life outside of this congregation and see how God is at work in the world in other places right here in Minnesota, right? The thing about, I say mission trips, but we are, I say that for the quick and easy term, but really we call these, you can see at the top, I said service learning. So these trips are meant to be an accompaniment model where we walk alongside the people that we meet and we serve, and we don't want to show up and be like, we're here to help you. And that is true. We are there to help and serve, but we're also there to learn about the people that we meet, the organizations that we work with, the systems that they are set within, so that we can try to be God's hands and feet in the world when we come back to this congregation and place, that we can have learned and grown. And I like this saying that until you know better, you can't do better, right? So like until we learn a little bit more about the world and hear someone else's story and have some empathy about how someone maybe got into a situation where they could become homeless, then it's hard to break some of those stereotypes that we have until you put a face on it, right? And then you meet someone and you're like, if I had to pay rent and car payment and insurance and put food on the table and pay for school activities, you can see how if you lost a job, that you could very easily lose your house or something, but until you meet someone and have that sort of experience, it's really hard to have any sort of empathy or understanding about how there are systems at place that sort of play every single day into our lives, right? Like we just kind of take for granted, I think, in our lives that, especially as young adults, that there will be food on the table, and that when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to have a parent there that is going to help take care of me and get me to school or make sure that I have what I need, right? And that's just not the situation for everybody. So part of what we do on these trips is not only learn about other people and try to grow in that understanding of who all God's children are, but also ourselves, right? So I think that the youth that sign up for these trips leave and come back different because their hearts grow, their perspectives change. You grow not only in relationship with the people that you go with on the trip, but also yourself. You learn to what it means to be quiet and pray and read scripture, because we do devotions every single day. We do fun worship like we did tonight. Every single day has these components. And the thing that I find is that it's great to have an hour and a half here on a Wednesday, but when you leave on a retreat, when you leave on a longer experience, that's sort of where the magic happens. So it gives us an opportunity to go deeper, to really get to know each other and grow in relationship better, and then also to talk more about deeper faith things. So what this trip kind of looks like is that it's going to be from Sunday, June 28th to Wednesday, July 1st. We'll meet here at church in the morning on Sunday, go to worship and have a blessing in our own service here, and then drive over to St. Paul. And the first day is really meant for fellowship, team building, kind of getting to know what we're doing, talking about the schedule, getting to know our location where we're staying, getting our sleeping areas set up, getting comfortable, and then just having a lot of fun time together. So that's Sunday, and we cook our meals together and do our grocery shopping and things like that. So it really depends on how many people we have, all those logistics, right? Because if we have a group of we had 9, Soph had to cancel, so we had 8 youth and 3 adults on the one last summer. And if we have 20-something, that's going to be a whole different, just be a little different feel, right? It'd be wonderful. I don't have a cap on this one for the number of people that can go, but we'll just see, how many people we have, and then we'll know more of those specifics. But Monday and Tuesday are our service days, so we will go to an organization in the morning, have our sack lunches somewhere, and then serve at an organization in the afternoon. So it's kind of like 9 to noon, and then 1 to 4. And then last year we also did Feed My Starving Children in the evening. It's nice because we're real close to that, and it's just a really fun thing to do together as a group. So we'll probably do that on one of those nights. And then Wednesday we will have a fun day. And then we're actually going to come back here on that evening, Wednesday evening the 1st, and lead we decided just this week to continue our WOW worships through the summer. And so the first Wednesday in July is July 1st, and so we had the idea that we'll come back from our trip and we'll have supper here, and then we're going to actually lead that worship time, and we always share some trip stories and songs and things like that. So that will be at the very end of the trip on Wednesday, July 1st. Thank you for helping with all that. No, you're fine. Did you grab one of these sheets? Sorry, you're going to get even more steps in. So a couple important things to know is that we do need adult leaders for the trip. We can't do these without adults to go with, so we need at least one of each gender. Assuming we have guys and girls go on the trip, we'll need a mom and a dad. Or they don't have to be parents, but traditionally they are. I mean, I sometimes get adults that will go that aren't a parent, but so we've had some young adults sometimes come back, but need to be 21 or older. Need to be willing and able to drive on the trip, possibly using your own vehicle and then getting reimbursed for miles. It would depend on numbers if we rent a vehicle or not, so that we'll see what happens there. And if you do have a job that you need to keep up with, you could bring a computer, and there are times where you could, if you needed to and you couldn't take the 3 full days off or whatever, you could keep up with some work stuff. So super high, it's demanding, it's a lot of energy, but it's so rewarding and incredibly life-changing. So if you are interested in that, talk with me, and I can also help. There are so many adults that have gone. I have adults that come back year after year because they love it so much on the high school trips. So this is only our 2nd summer with this age group. So last summer, if you want to talk to either of those adults, Mike Boyack went. He was the one that came in here, talked about carrying the watermelon. And then also Kim Nisley. Those were the 2 adults that went with me last year. And then Pastor Tim was there for a night also. We do scholarships for all of our trips, so we don't ever want costs to be prohibitive. But we do give every youth that signs up, because this trip it's going to be under $300. We're just doing a $50 scholarship for each student, so we have a scholarship fund, and that'll help offset some of the cost. And then if you jump down, I should have put the fundraiser right by that, but we do a large youth fundraiser this year. It's on March 15th, so plan on that if you are thinking about the trip, because that's how you will raise more of your money for the trip. And now's the time to start thinking about auction donations. So if you are for sure that you want to go, like one of the ways that you can help right now is just, you're out to eat at a restaurant. It takes a little bit, step outside your comfort zone a little bit, but you can say to the server, if I were to buy a $25 gift card, do you think your manager would match it for our youth fundraiser? And you can just tell them a little bit about it. I've done this 3 times in the last, couple weeks, and I've gotten over $200 worth of gift cards. One place said, we'll match it up to $200. And it was like, okay, I'll buy $100 in gift cards and then you match it. So it's, sometimes they'll just match whatever you buy. So that's an idea. You can also think about people that you know that own businesses, or any silent auction items. I just say gift cards because they tend to go for full value. So that's, if you're already there soliciting a business, it's a great time to see if they'll support our youth going on the trip. And I do have letters, so if you'd like to keep some of those with you and, you're going somewhere, you can always show them that or hand that out too. On the trip, students don't have phones at all, so if you do have a cell phone, and if you choose to bring it with, you will get it for the car ride, and then they get put away, and then we go phone free for the week, and then you get it back once we return. So I will tell you, it is one of the things that the high schoolers look forward to the most. They can't wait to get rid of them. It's really surprising. You think it would be the opposite, but those that have gone on trips look forward to that unplugging, because it's the only time that they do it. And it is such a unique and stress-free time for them when they get to just be present with their friends, have fun, hang out. And we, last year, let them choose when they could get them back. And I would say 80% of the kids chose to wait until we got back to church. We gave them the option, and there was a handful of them that took their phones like when we left Duluth, and then the rest of them waited until we got back here to church, and they said, we don't want it to end yet. And so they waited, and it was just really cool to see how much they crave that time where they're not being, constantly notified by a million different things on their phone. So it sounds challenging. Maybe it doesn't, I don't know. Most of the high schoolers, the first time they go on the trip, you can see their eyes get really big, and it's hard for them, but then once they do it, they really look forward to it. So to sign up, I'll send the online registration link. They're on the little table back there. Sorry, Sabrina. So there will be an online link for a form to fill out, and then a $50 deposit to secure your spot. Once we start making payments to places, then that wouldn't be refundable. So like once we pay Service Learning Camps. So Service Learning Camps, I should back up just a bit. Service Learning Camps is an organization that coordinates low-cost mission trips for youth leaders that have experience doing mission trips. This is my 26th year in ministry. I spent 12 years at Trinity in Long Lake, and then from 2000 to 2012, and then I was in Buffalo at Zion on 25 from 12 to 18 and did children's ministry there, and then I've been here at Light of Christ since 2018. And so I have led upwards of, 18 or 20 mission trips, and in the beginning, when I started, I wanted to have a mission trip where I could just step into it, and it would be like the details would be coordinated for me. I'd recruit the kids, we'd raise the money, and we'd show up, and then everything was run for me. At this stage, I really like the freedom to have more control over the details of what happens with our group. So because I've done enough trips, I sort of, as much as I have a 20-year-old son, I really love him. He'll be 20 this June. He doesn't have as much experience as I do at 47. And I think it's great to have younger role models for our kids, but I really enjoy being able to set my own schedule with a mission trip and see, like, if we go and serve all day and we are exhausted and we just need to stop and take some time to have quiet time and take a nap on your bunk, whatever, then I can make the choice to do that versus being on someone else's schedule and they're saying, no, we're gonna do this and this and that, and like when you step into more of a cookie cutter mission trip, you have to follow everything, the schedule that they set. And so it was later in my ministry that I decided I really need to have a mission trip where there are some things coordinated for me, but then I can control some of the schedule and things like that for what's best for our group. So that's what we do now. So Service Learning Camps is run by a former youth director, ELCA youth director, that when he retired, he said, I see this need for mission trips that can be, that we can help youth leaders, get the service stuff organized and help with lodging and showers, but then they do the devotional content and the worship, and you do the things for your group. You've got your own theology, right? Sometimes you step into another mission trip and you're also subject to whatever they're going to teach. Which I'm not saying is all bad, but there's a reason that I'm Lutheran and not Baptist. There are things about my faith that are really important to me, and I think it's important to learn from other people, but it's also really important for us to know why we believe what we believe, and that's some of the things we talk about, right? So Service Learning Camps will do just that. They will coordinate the service opportunities that we go on, and so there is a staff person from Service Learning Camps that's in Minneapolis that will they'll show up at the service site and have all the details coordinated, and we show up, and that detail I don't have to worry about. Like, we know that they're going to be there. They send us all the forms that we need to complete. They do all of that behind the scenes work. But then we are in charge of all the other logistics, and I then can make sure that everything goes smoothly on the other side, all the other things. So once we pay that Service Learning Camps fee, then that, I can't refund that at that point. So hopefully we've had very few cancellations over the years, and hopefully it's not something that we even need to think about, but if there was something unpredictable, an illness, death in a family, something like that, we would talk about it and we would figure out the best path forward, take each kind of case by case. So this kind of, on the back side, gives you an idea of like a general packing list. You'll get a more specific list if you sign up, and we'll have another meeting in the spring with more details, some things that you can't bring, and then there's a cost breakdown. At this point, before I go through the last questions at the bottom, can you think of any questions that you have? Yeah.
Do you know what types of learning projects the kids might be involved in, or is that not possible to know until closer to the time?
So I don't have any specifics right now. I can tell you that last year we went to Second Harvest Heartland, which was, it's the organization that provides the food actually for our food distribution once a month. So that was one of my favorite projects because it kind of brought the whole thing full circle. Like, I'd done the food packing at Our Fathers in Rockford. I had been here at church distributing the boxes, but this is the very first step of the process where they gather the potatoes. So we sorted potatoes for 3 hours. And, you know, had kind of the box that you threw them in where they were no good, and then then the ones that were to be handed out, right? So we did the 20-pound bags, or what, I don't remember, Cole, do you remember? I don't know. We put them in these big bags and then got them ready to go to the places where they distribute them then. So that was one that we did last year. We went to the crisis nursery, and played with the kids and cooked a meal at the Minneapolis Crisis Nursery in South Minneapolis. You're going to have to help me remember, Cole. Let's see, oh yes, we went to, silly, that was a really fun one too. We went to the Salvation Army Men's Shelter in St. Paul and cooked a meal there and got a tour and learned about their campus, which was really powerful. We also went to the memorial for abuse victims and read and learned about that. It's the only memorial in, it's not a memorial, but like a space dedicated to those that are impacted by sexual abuse. So that was very powerful. And that was obviously just a learning thing. We just went and read and sat and had some time and had some conversation. We also worked, did we work in the garden? See, this is where trips start to blend. Anyway, that's the longer answer. The short answer is we won't know specifics until it gets closer because they're working on those details now, but we can give input. So what I said is that I wanted to have some things related to food insecurity and homelessness and children. And so that's how we got those, and then they took that and found organizations. Because I really wanted the kids to have the opportunity to see what is a soup kitchen, right? What is, why do people need to visit them? And what is it that would cause someone to need to utilize that service, right? So those were the things that but if there are things that you are interested in seeing or doing, you can give some input and then I can share that and they will organize, or if there's a specific place even, right? The cool thing is kids have developed relationships and then as you get older, you can go back, right? Because they're 20, 30 minutes away. It's really cool. Other things? Keep thinking. So at the bottom, why should I go on this trip? Cole, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Why should someone go on this trip? Why are you thinking about coming back? They're really fun, aren't they? A lot of great time growing in relationship. Did you meet new people that you never would have imagined? Like you developed relationships with some of these ninth grade. You're in eighth grade. He was the only eighth grader on the trip. Developed a lot of great relationships with those freshmen, yeah? Was the service, what did you think of the service opportunities? Yeah. Did you learn some things? Yeah. I have 3 boys, so I expect those sort of answers. I still really appreciate you being willing to share. So I can almost guarantee that if you choose to go on the trip, that you will come back and say, I'm going on every trip here on out. And it was life-changing for me. And I don't just say that for the kids, it's the same for the adults. I think if you talk to Mike or Kim about last year or any of the high school leaders, they would say, Mike came expecting to do work during the week. And he could have, but he got to day 1 and he was like, I'm out. He said, I want to be fully present in this trip, and I'm just gonna, I've decided that I'm just gonna take this full time off, and I just want to be here, and I don't want to be doing any work. I can't go back and forth. I just want to be with the kids. So, I challenge you to ask someone that's gone on a trip and just say, what did you like about the trip, or why would you go on another one? So the fundraising, each kid that signs up for a trip gets a youth account, and the money that they raise stays in that account, and it goes to younger siblings after they get out of high school. So it's something that we keep track of. So you get money for your trips based on the amount of time that you put in. And so essentially, let's say all of our youth work on the 15th. We have 100 hours that they've worked. We made this amount of money. I divide it by 100. I figure out an hourly rate. And I take a little bit of money off for our adult leaders and things like that, and then they get an hourly rate where it's over $20 an hour every single time we do it, and then you make for how many hours you worked, then I calculate how much money you made that goes towards your trip. And then how you make payments. So payments can be made cash, check, or online, and just make sure you designate it for the mission trip. And you really just make your deposit in the beginning and then see how the fundraising goes. You're not expected to make another payment until we get about a month out from the trip, if there's any money needed. If you may raise it all, and then, then all you pay is $50 for the trip. You obviously can bring your medications. I skipped the what if I get sick, if I need to cancel. We sort of talked about that, yeah. Medications, we are liable. When we are on these trips, our number one thing is safety of your children. I do not take it lightly that you are sending your kids on a trip with us. And so safety not only in our travel, in all of our experiences, but with medications as well. There are kids that will have a controlled substance, right, whether it's for ADHD or depression or something. All of our meds, our kids turn in, and we keep them in a locked box. And here's the other thing, you're also out of your normal routine, so to expect you to remember to take your meds during a day when you're busy from morning to night is just, it's not easy, right? So we will take one of the adult leaders will be in charge of all the medications and the schedule, and we also keep track of when we give any over-the-counter meds, so you don't need to bring anything with you. If there's something specific you want, you can of course bring it, but you will turn it in so that the adult leaders have all the medications and we don't have to worry about somebody having an adverse reaction or somebody getting too much of something. You are not able to hand out Advil to friends, or you know what I mean? Like, it's all, you just come to the adult leaders, and we'll probably first ask you, if you come and say I have a headache, I need some Advil, I'll say, when's the last time you've had 8 ounces of water? Because a lot of times it's dehydration, but so we will have all of those medications, and then you don't need to worry about it during the week. We've talked about adult leaders a little bit. The only thing I didn't say is that we will work as hard as we can to pay for the cost of the adult leaders. For this trip, we will for sure, because it's a low-cost trip. So if you choose as an adult to go on the trip, you do not pay anything, not even the deposit, because we value so highly the time that you're taking off from whatever your regular schedule is to come and be on this experience. So, I challenge you to think of one question that you can ask. Youth. Cole, I already put you on the spot, so you're... Anything?
Are there other groups that go?
That's a great trip. Great question. So that's another reason that I do these trips through Service Learning Camps, is because it's just us. We'll encounter other people at our service sites, but when we stay at the church, it's just our church. So we get to do all of our fun night games together, and it's just our group. Yeah. Yep, great question. Not always the case on mission trips. You will be with, other churches, and there's pros and cons, right? But I really focus on growing the relationships within our own church, and, so it's great to meet new people, but half the time you don't know each other, and that's the fun thing, is watching the new relationship. And it really does enhance your high school experience. The relationships that I have seen come out of these trips, to the extent where a kid will come back and a parent will say, I used to worry that so-and-so, my child, wasn't interacting, and now they have all these new relationships, and it just seems like it has really helped them to, be more engaged in high school, because you're walking down the hall, and if you've shared that experience, like, it doesn't even matter, it doesn't matter what you say, you just have this, like, you know each other like you never did before, so it's a really cool experience in that regard, so. Well, 35 minutes, not so bad, right? Take this home with you. You'll get the link for registration. If you think of other questions, let me know. We'll do registration for a month and kind of see where we're at, and then I'll give you an update and let you know. With this one, it's a little easier to take. With the high school trip, we're going to San Diego, and I have to get airfare, so once that happens, I can't take anymore, right? So, but this is a little different, but I will tell you, the sooner the better, because it allows me to plan. I can figure out numbers. The biggest thing is transportation. How am I going to fit the people in the bags? And, I need to make sure that I can get everybody and their stuff over to St. Paul, even though it's not far. We want to do it in one trip. So, let's pray, and then you can stick around if you want to ask anything else. God, we know that you're in the details, and I thank you for that, because there's a lot of them when it comes to trips like this. So I pray that you be with us as we plan and organize things. Be with our youth as they consider whether this is a good opportunity for them or something they need to wait for. Bring forth the people that are meant to be on this experience, and the group that can grow and do your work in the world. Just help us to discern whether this is the summer for a trip like this for each one of us, or whether it's down the road. So be with parents as they pray about it and think about these experiences for their kids. Help the youth to get excited and talk to their friends and just share about the excitement of serving and grow in the joy of giving to others. So thank you for this night. Again, be with us in the details and the planning, and always be with us in our safety. Bless us and keep us. In your name we pray. Amen. Thanks so much for sticking around for this. I know it gets to be a long day, so I appreciate you taking time. And just reach out with any questions, okay? You'll get the link tomorrow. I put the cherry and the spoon on there thinking maybe we need to go to the walker this year. I know, I've always driven by and I haven't walked around either, but that would be a really fun. Last year we went to Minnehaha Falls. That was fun. Thanks for coming. It's good to have you here tonight.